Meghan Markle's latest Paris appearance wasn't a comeback. It was a collapse, staged under spotlights that refused to shine for her. The plan was clear: Paris would be her rebirth. Cameras rehearsed. Lights tested. Headlines pre-written. Meghan Markle returns, stronger, freer, untouchable. But when she stepped into the Balenciaga show, the moment froze. The room didn't erupt, it recoiled. Flashbulbs popped, not for her, but around her, like polite applause for a ghost. She smiled through it, of course. The same polished grin, the same measured tilt of the chin. But the energy was wrong. There was no awe, only observation. Every movement felt like a rerun, a performance the audience had already stopped believing in, and that's the tragedy. Paris didn't boo Meghan Markle. It studied her. How do you talk about protecting children when you're promoting a brand accused of doing the opposite? The hypocrisy hung in the air like perfume, sweet, heavy, impossible to ignore. This wasn't a redemptive appearance. It was an autopsy. Every smile looked rehearsed, every gesture stiff, every ounce of warmth drowned under calculation. Even industry insiders whispered it. She's playing a role no one believes anymore. While Harry complains the UK isn't safe enough for his family, Meghan was alone in Paris, smiling for cameras she once blamed for Diana's death. The irony was suffocating. Behind the velvet ropes, stylists muttered nicknames: panic in a bottle, foundation over fatigue. One makeup artist put it bluntly: you can retouch an image, but not a reputation. Paris didn't destroy Meghan Markle. It simply revealed that her empire had already collapsed. Balenciaga didn't tag her. The brand didn't post her. That silence in couture is louder than scandal. She wasn't the face of rebirth. She was a courtesy seat at a show that had already moved on. One insider said, it felt like history ending, not beginning. No smiles, no nods from editors, just cold politeness, the kind reserved for relics, not icons. When the clips hit social media, the question wasn't, is she back? It was, why does this feel like goodbye? And that's because it was. Her Paris comeback wasn't about relevance. It was about routine, the same poses, the same narrative, the same echo of glamour that once fooled the world. But the crowd didn't lean in this time. They leaned away. The applause that followed was paper-thin, polite, but hollow. Because in fashion, indifference is deadlier than hate. Backstage, the mask slipped. Assistants whispered about missing outfits, scuffed heels, foundation sweating through silk. Rumor had it even her perfume couldn't hide the panic. You can fix makeup, someone joked, but not that smell. The laughter wasn't cruel, it was confirmation. The illusion was cracking, and then came that drive. Through the Pont de l'Alma tunnel, the same one where Diana's story ended. Her team claimed it was coincidence. But coincidences don't linger for photo ops. To many, it felt staged, not tribute, but provocation. That's when admiration turned to discomfort. For years, Meghan sold herself as the phoenix rising from royal ashes, the misunderstood visionary, the humanitarian, the independent woman rewriting her story. But by Paris, that story had turned into theater. Behind every brand deal and impact project were meetings about optics, lighting, camera angles, not meaning. Every rebrand was just another costume. Paris stripped that away. No palace to blame. No tabloids to fight. Just Meghan, a woman alone in couture, surrounded by people who didn't need her anymore. Insiders said she tried to channel Diana's warmth, the Queen's restraint, Hollywood's magnetism. But the result wasn't magic. It was mimicry. A collage of borrowed personas that never quite fit. That's why Paris mattered. It wasn't about the dress. It was about the silence that followed. In fashion, silence isn't mercy. It's a verdict. Within 2 days, PR teams stopped calling. Editors who once fawned began using words like non-essential. Even her online engagement numbers, once her weapon, had flatlined. Not from scandal, but from exhaustion. Meghan Markle wasn't controversial anymore. She was predictable, and predictability is death in the fame economy. Behind closed doors, industry veterans summed it up cruelly but truthfully. She mistook curiosity for loyalty. Attention isn't affection. Paris proved it. The applause that night wasn't admiration. It was closure, the industry politely bowing out of her myth. As the lights dimmed, the illusion did too. What remained was a woman still performing, not for cameras, but for herself, trying to convince her reflection that she still mattered. The gestures were all there, the Diana wave, the Queen's posture, the Hollywood smirk. But the authenticity was gone. Paris didn't assassinate her image. It exposed it. When fame fades, it doesn't die dramatically. It dies quietly, one ignored photo at a time. Maybe Paris wasn't her fall. Maybe it was her mirror, because what the cameras captured wasn't cruelty. It was clarity. The moment Meghan Markle realized the spotlight doesn't follow forever, the audience had already gone home. And for the first time, she was left standing in the silence, not as a victim, not as a villain, but as a woman who built her myth so high that it finally collapsed under its own reflection.